Hello, class. Okay, Chapter 2. Hopefully you learned a lot in Chapter 1, and remember, this just continues to build. So if you don't have a good grasp of Chapter 1, then you need to go back and make sure, because you've got to build on each chapter. Don't skip around. Stay systematic. Stay disciplined. Now, Chapter 2, terms pertaining to the body as a whole. So what's our goals? Define terms that apply to the structural organization of the body. Identify the body cavities and recognize the organs contained within these cavities. Locate and identify the anatomical and clinical divisions of the body. Locate and name the anatomical divisions of the back. Become acquainted with terms that describe positions, directions, and planes of the body. Identify the meanings for new word elements and use them to understand medical terms. Lesson 2.1, Structural Organization and Body Cavities. Define terms that apply to the structural organization of the body. Identify the body cavities and recognize the organs contained within those cavities. Locate and identify the anatomic and clinical divisions of the body. So, the structural organization of the body, well, we start off with cells. Now, in order to get cells, we are actually a whole bunch of atoms and molecules. So a whole bunch of atoms and molecules make up cells. A whole bunch of cells make up tissues. A bunch of tissues make organs. A bunch of organs make systems and organ systems. And a whole bunch of organ systems make a beautiful creature such as yourself. So we'll break this down a little bit, but knowing the level of human organization is always important. So cell is the fundamental unit of all living things. Major parts of the cell include chromosomes. Remember, you have 46 chromosomes, 23 from mama, 23 from papa. Nucleus is like the brain of the cell. Cell membrane, I like to call that the bouncer of the cell. It lets certain people in and actually lets certain things out. So the cell membrane. Cytoplasm is some fluid that the organelles sit in. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and endoplasmic reticulum is a network of tubules, and there's rough and smooth, that allow certain molecules and proteins to process and go through. Again, this is not an anatomy or biology class, so I don't expect you to know all that, but we are going to know the wording behind it. So remember, in medical terminology, we just want to know what the words mean, not really the anatomy and physiology of the parts. All right, so if you look at a cell, there's the cell membrane, there's the nucleus, the brain, the chromosomes. Remember, there's 46. Cytoplasm is where the organelles sit. Here's the little ribosomes, which make proteins. Endoplasmic reticulum, which are a network of tubules, and mitochondria, which are the powerhouse of the cell. Okay. Study section 1, we're going to talk about anabolism, catabolism, cell membrane, chromosomes, cytoplasm, DNA, endoplasmic reticulum, genes, karyotype, metabolism, mitochondria, and the nucleus. Make sure you know what all those mean. Cells are specialized to carry out individual functions. There's types of cells include the muscle cell, a nerve cell, epithelial cell, and a fat cell. Here's the interesting note, a side note for human anatomy. Did you know that all human beings essentially have the same number of fat cells? It's just the size is different, varies. So, same thing with skin color. We have the same number of melanocytes, which are cells in the skin, but the amount of melanin, which is the color of your skin, varies. So really, it's just the amount of melanin that determines skin color, nothing else. The type of cells: muscle cell, nerve cell, epithelial cell, and here's a fat cell. We're always finding ways, how do we get rid of these suckers, huh? Tissues. A tissue is a group of similar cells working together to do a specific job. Organs, different types of tissues combine to form an organ. And systems, group of organs working together to perform a complex function. So see how it builds on each other. So here's a cell. A bunch of cells make up tissues. A bunch of tissues make up an organ. A bunch of organs make up a system. What is adipose tissue? What's cartilage? Epithelials? What's a histologist? Larynx, pharynx, pituitary gland, thyroid gland, trachea, ureter, urethra, uterus, viscera. Make sure you know where those are in the body and what these mean. Body cavities are spaces within the body that contain internal organs of viscera and include cranial, thoracic, abdominal, pelvic, and the spinal cavity. So if you look at this, the cranial cavity, well, what do you think sits in the cranial cavity? The brain. Here's the pituitary gland. Okay. Here's the thoracic cavity. What do you think sits in the thoracic cavity? The heart and the lungs. There's the diaphragm. The diaphragm separates the thoracic from the abdominal cavity. What do you think is in the abdominal cavity? Well, you've got your stomach, liver, right? Intestines, the spinal cavity, which houses the spinal cord. Then we have the pelvic cavity, which houses your reproductive organs. Cranial means brain, thoracic, lungs, heart, esophagus, trachea, bronchial tubes, thymus gland, and aorta are all part of the thoracic cavity. The abdominal cavity houses the stomach, small and large intestine, spleen, pancreas, liver, and gallbladder. The pelvic cavity houses the certain portions of the small and large intestine, the bladder, the rectum, urethra, uterus, and vagina in the female. And the spinal cavity has the nerves of the spinal cord. Alright, so quick quiz. Do you ever watch Speed with Keanu Reeves? Quick quiz, hotshot. Which body cavity contains the pleural cavity and the mediastinum? So is that going to be cranial, pelvic, spinal, or thoracic? Pleural meaning lungs, mediastinum, so it's probably the thoracic. Which body cavity contains the peritoneum? Where do you think the peritoneum is? Okay, is that going to be pelvic, spinal, thoracic? We'll go with abdominal. Organs in abdominal, pelvic, and thoracic cavities. You've got the trachea, the lung, the diaphragm, the liver, gallbladder, pancreas, colon, appendix, bladder, thyroid, aorta, heart, spleen, stomach, colon. When you look at these, you always want to say, okay, can I point to the trachea on my body? So point to the trachea. Then point to where the lungs are. Point to where the diaphragm is. Point to the liver. The liver is on your right side. The gallbladder is embedded within the liver. The pancreas is deep to the stomach. Colon, appendix is in the right side, bladder, thyroid gland, aorta, heart, spleen is on the left side, stomach is on the left side, right? So knowing where these are is very important. So if you look at this, here's the right side, here's the left side, anatomical position. Okay, I think his hands are in the fundamental position. I can't really see it, it got cut off, but okay, there's your lungs. Here's the aorta, here's the liver, gallbladder, pancreas. See how it's deep to the stomach? There's the spleen that's behind, retro to the stomach. Here's the small intestine. There's the colon. You have an ascending, transverse, descending colon. Here's your sigmoid colon. Here's your bladder. Okay, here's your appendix. So knowing this is actually very important. Again, this is not a human anatomy class, so I won't test you on this, but knowing where each organ is in the body or what a spleen looks like or a stomach looks like would be helpful. Abdominal cavity, cranial cavity, diaphragm, dorsal mediastinum, pelvic cavity, peritoneum, pleural cavity, spinal cavity, thoracic cavity, and ventral, meaning anterior. Now here's something that's very important, knowing what organ is in what region, because from a medical terminology standpoint, you might read the medical chart and say, oh, imaging done of the epigastric region, imaging done of the right inguinal region. Well, you probably should know what organ sits in what region. Okay? So let's take a look at this. Here's the right hypochondriac region. You see where the liver sits in there. The gallbladder can sit in the right hypochondriac region. The left hypochondriac region, you've got little parts of the stomach, but majority of the liver and the stomach are in the epigastric region. Right lumbar region, you've got the ascending colon. In the umbilical region, you've got the transverse colon. You've got the small intestine. You've got little parts of the pancreas. In the left lumbar region, you have the descending colon. Okay. In the hypogastric region, well, you've got parts of the small intestine, large intestines, the urinary bladder, the sigmoid colon. The right inguinal region, you've got the appendix. So if they say, let's MRI done of the right inguinal region, you might suspect that they were looking for appendicitis or a ruptured appendix. All right. So this is why medical terminology is important. This is why the regions, knowing the regions, are important. Remember, you know, whether you're going to be a medical assistant, a PA, a MD, a DO, whatever initial you have behind your name, medical terminology is the foundation for any kind of graduate school. So you must have a good grasp of this. Like I said, if you spend the time and really learn medical terminology, every single class after this will be that much easier because it'll just build on your ability to understand medical terminology. All right, the right upper quadrant. Now you have quadrants. These are regions, but you also have quadrants, 4 quadrants. That contains the liver, the right lobe, gallbladder, part of the pancreas, part of the small, large intestine. Left upper quadrant contains the liver, left lobe, stomach, spleen, part of the pancreas, parts of small and large intestine. So if you had pain in the left upper quadrant, you might have pain in the stomach. If you have pain in the right upper quadrant, you might have pain in your gallbladder or liver. If you have pain in the right lower quadrant, that might be small, right ovary, but the appendix is in the right lower quadrant. And the left lower quadrant, you've got your left fallopian tube, left ureter, left ovary. Right. So here's the difference between the right upper quadrant, left upper quadrant. So knowing what organs fit into which quadrant and which region is important. Okay, let's look at some positions, directions, planes, and terminology. Locate and name the anatomical divisions of the back. Become acquainted with terms that describe positions, directions, and planes of the body. Identify the meaning for new word elements and use them to understand medical terms. Cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, coccygeal. Cervical, you have 7 cervical. Thoracic, you have 12 vertebrae. Lumbar region, you have 5. Sacral, and then coccygeal, which is your tailbone. If you ever go snowboarding or do skateboarding, you probably have fallen on your coccygeal area, which is your tailbone, and it hurts like heck. Okay. Now again, reviewing the abdominopelvic regions, you have the hypochondriac, epigastric, lumbar, umbilical, inguinal, and hypogastric, and the abdominopelvic quadrants, right upper, left upper, right lower, and left lower. Divisions of the back, you have the cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, and coccygeal, and the related terms to that are vertebra or vertebrae, spinal column, the spinal cord, and the discs. Name the abdominopelvic region that is located in the central region near the navel. You think that's inguinal, umbilical, lumbar, or hypochondriac. Okay. Well, it's probably the umbilical region. Navel, umbilical, umbilicus. Okay. Name the abdominopelvic region that is located in the lower middle below the or inferior to the umbilical region. Inguinal, epigastric, lumbar, or hypogastric. Okay. Lower middle. Okay, so if we go back, if you look at lower middle, here's the umbilical region, and the lower middle is known as the hypogastric region. Okay. So your answer is the hypogastric. Some positional and directional terms. This is very important to know. What does anterior mean? Posterior. What does deep mean? Superficial, proximal, distal, inferior, superior, medial, lateral, supine, and prone. So spend some time on this. All right. So if you look at positional and directional terms, where's anterior? Where's posterior? What's deep? What's superficial? So an example would be the stomach is deep to the skin. The heart is deep to the rib cage. But then if we go reverse it, superficial, we can say the skin is superficial to the stomach. The skin is superficial to the rib cage. Right? And then as we get, if you were to break down skin a little bit more, again, you don't have to know this, but you would say the dermis is deep to the epidermis, and then the hypodermis is deep to the dermis. If you have tattoos, you have it either in the epidermis, dermis, or hypodermis. What do you think? Well, if you had it in the epidermis, then that would be a henna tattoo. It would get washed off. So the tattoos are embedded. They're deep to the epidermis, so they're in the dermis. There you go. Learned something new today. Some of you knew that already. You're smart. You have proximal and distal. Okay. So proximal means closer to the trunk. Distal would be further away. So the ankle is distal to the hip. But the hip is proximal to the ankle. So make sure you know that. Okay. Inferior. So the knee is inferior to the hip. Superior, the shoulder is superior to the elbow. Lateral means to the outside, so the wrist is lateral to the hip. Medial, the chest or the sternum is medial to the shoulder. Okay. Supine means this position right here, so you're lying on your back, and prone means you're lying on your stomach. So if you ask a patient to lie supine, here's a pet peeve of mine, English. If you ask a patient to lay down, that's incorrect. Chickens lay, people lie. So you ask a patient to lie down, because you can't say, oh yes, Mr. Smith, go ahead and go into the supine position. They're like, what the hell are you talking about? Right? So you're going to say, please lie down, not lay down. Remember, chickens lay, people lie, so lie down. Again, that's just English 101. All right, frontal, coronal, sagittal, lateral, transverse, cross-sectional. So these are important when you're doing medical imaging. Do you have a coronal cut? Do you have a sagittal cut or a transverse cut? So if you were to look at this, okay, so number one is a coronal cut. So that's what you would see. So a coronal image, whether it's an MRI or a radiograph, you'll be able to see lungs, heart, liver, and you'll be able to see them all. In a sagittal section, here's mid-sagittal, cuts it between right and left. A frontal cuts it between anterior and posterior, but a sagittal section would divide it between right and left. Okay, so you might only see in a sagittal section, you might only see the liver. You might only see the stomach, depending on what side you're looking at. Whereas the frontal section, you'll be able to see all of it. And the transverse cuts it from anterior or superior to inferior. So you're only going to see certain parts of it. Okay, so you're looking down from it. So each has its pros and cons, and the physician or the PA or the DO will pretty much order different sections, whether it's coronal, lateral, axial, transverse, sagittal, making sure you know that based on what they're trying to find. Anterior, deep, distal, frontal, inferior, lateral, medial, posterior. Make sure you know what those mean. Prone, proximal, sagittal, superficial, superior, supine, transverse. All medical terms that it should be automatic. All right, now we go back to what we learned the first chapter. What's medical terminology? All right, so let's look at this. All right, abdomino, addo, and antero. What does it mean? Abdomino means abdomen, adipo means fat, antero means front. Cervical, chondro, chrome, coxa. So cervical means neck, chondro means cartilage, chromo means color, and coxa means coccyx. Okay? Chondrocyte, cervical, crani, cyto, distal, dorsal. Hey, cyto came again. Cranio, skull, cyto means cell, disto means far, distant, dorsal means back portion of the body. Histo, ilio, inguinal, cario. So histology means study of tissue. ilio, ilium, inguinal, groin, karyo means nucleus, karyotype. Lateral, lumbo, medi, nucleo. So lateral means to the side, lumbo means lower back, medio means middle, nucleo pertaining to the nucleus. Pelvic, pharyngeal, postural, proximal, sacral. More combining forms. Okay? So pelvic means pelvis, pharyngeal means pharynx, postural means back, proximal means nearest, and sacral means sacrum. So knowing these combining forms and then knowing suffixes and prefixes, depending on how we combine them, will pretty much break down the word for you. Okay. Spine, thilio, thoraco, tracheo. So sarco means flesh, spino means spine, thilio means nipple, thorac means chest, trach means trachea or windpipe. Umbilical, ventral, vertebral, visceral. Umbilico means navel, ventral means belly side, vertebral means vertebrae, visceral means internal organs. Okay, so these are the combining forms that you should know. Now here's the prefix. Okay, so now you combine a prefix with the combining form or a suffix with the combining form. So ana, cata, epi, hypo, intro, intra, and meta. So ana means up, cata means down, epi means above, hypo means below, intro means between, intra was within, and meta is change. So there's a difference between inter-tester reliability and intra-tester reliability, right? So make sure you would know the difference between intra versus inter. So an example, let's say we were doing blood pressure cuffs and we had 5 people do it. So that would, and they get different readings. So that would be inter-tester reliability. But if I had the same medical assistant or the same nurse do the blood pressure, that would be intra-tester reliability. So if one person did it repeatedly, that's intra-tester. And if different people did it, that would be inter-tester. And it's always good to see, do inter-tester reliabilities, because if you got 140 over 100 and then the second medical assistant gets 120 over 80, well, that's a big difference. So that would be inter-tester reliability. Intra-tester is you're doing the same thing over and over again. So if you're making the same mistake, well, then your intra-tester reliability isn't that great. Okay. Il, yak, your, ism, os, plasm, somes, and type. These are suffixes. So suffix means pertaining to, iac means pertaining to, and your means pertaining to. Look at that. All these mean the same, meaning pertaining to. So you can add that at the end of any word, and that would mean the same. Ism means a process or condition. Os is full of. So adipose, right? Plasm, formation. Somes, bodies. Chromosomes, okay, bodies. Type, picture or classification. So which term means the process of cutting the skull? All right, so you got to know, well, arthro means what? Joint, disc, thoraco means thoracic. So craniotomy, otomy meaning cutting, and skull means cranial, so craniotomy. See, now you're learning to break it down. Break down, remember the O is just the connector. Okay, this is otomy, meaning to dissect or cut, and cranio meaning skull. Easy. Make sure you practice, practice, practice. Read the book, do flashcards, and practice this so that you understand all this. It's easy now, but when you get tested on it, it might seem a little foreign, so start to practice. Practice with each other, make some friends, do what you can to practice, practice, practice.